You ever pull a prank as a kid that got way bigger than you expected? Yeah, I did that once. Except my prank turned into a 20-year revenge plan I didn't even realize would work so perfectly. It all started when I was 13, awkward, angry at the world, and sick of one thing more than anything else: Sunday school. If you've ever had a parent force you into something you absolutely hated, hit that like button, subscribe, and sit tight, because this is the story of how my teenage frustration turned into the longest-running payback my dad has ever seen. Back in the early 80s, my father was, let's just say, a man of faith. He'd been attending St. Paul's Episcopal Church since 1933, and in his mind, if he was going, then we all were going. Every Sunday. No excuses. And for us kids, that meant one thing: Sunday school. Imagine being 13, hormones raging, trying to look cool, wanting freedom, and then being told to sit in a room full of 6-year-olds coloring pictures of Jesus with blunt crayons. I hated it. One Sunday morning, I'd had enough. I tried to reason with my dad while we were getting ready. I said, "Dad, can't I just stay with you in the main service this week? I'm too old for Sunday school." He barely looked up from tying his tie and said, "No, son. Sunday school is where you belong." I clenched my fists. My jaw tightened. I wasn't about to cry, but I sure felt like yelling. Instead, I just muttered, "Fine," under my breath and stormed out the door. We sat through the early part of service, the announcements, hymns, all that, before the kids were dismissed upstairs for Sunday school. I sat there fuming. In my teenage head, it wasn't about crayons anymore. It was about freedom. Why couldn't I decide for myself where I wanted to sit for one measly hour? Then, something caught my ear. The man up front started making announcements about volunteer opportunities. And one of them stuck out like lightning. "We're currently looking for new ushers. There's a sign-up sheet on the way out. This is a lifelong commitment." I froze. Lifelong commitment? The words repeated in my head like a sweet, mischievous echo. I looked over at my dad, so focused, so sure of himself, thinking he had every part of our lives under control. And in that moment, something clicked. If I couldn't choose my Sunday mornings, maybe I could change his. When the time came for us kids to head upstairs, I turned to him one last time. "Dad, can I please stay with you today?" I asked again, one final shot. He frowned, clearly annoyed. "No, son. Go to class." He waved me away like I was a fly buzzing in his face. So, I did what any defiant 13-year-old genius would do. Instead of going upstairs, I stopped at the sign-up counter near the exit. The same one they'd mentioned in the announcements. I glanced over my shoulder. Dad wasn't looking. On the sheet it said, "Ushers needed, lifelong commitment. Please print name clearly." My heart was pounding. I wrote out his name, first initials and last name, the same as mine. And then, with the confidence of a teenage criminal mastermind who'd forged a few report card signatures before, I signed it. Perfectly. I looked at it once more, feeling that delicious thrill of rebellion wash over me. Then I went upstairs, grabbed a crayon, and pretended to color another saint's robe, grinning ear to ear. 2 weeks later, it happened. My dad got a letter in the mail. He opened it at the dinner table, glanced at it, and suddenly his whole face changed. "What the?" he muttered. Then he looked at me. "Did you sign me up for something?" I froze. My siblings tried not to laugh. I shrugged and said, "Nope." The letter was from St. Paul's Church, thanking him for volunteering as a new usher. His first assigned duty was in 2 weeks. Now here's the thing. My dad was a proud man. He wasn't about to tell the church they'd made a mistake. No, that would mean admitting something embarrassing. So he grumbled and said, "Well, I guess I'll do it this time." And that "this time" turned into every third Sunday. Frequenty. At first, it was just funny. He'd complain about having to get there early, hand out programs, and escort people to pews. He'd come home muttering, "I don't even know how this happened." And I'd just smile and say, "Wow, Dad, that's real dedication." But then it became a thing. He couldn't back out. He'd been doing it too long. Everyone at church knew him as one of the ushers. He had a badge, a rotation. responsibilities. And so, every third Sunday for the next 2 decades, my dad got up early, put on his best suit, and dutifully ushered people into pews. All because I didn't want to color with crayons when I was 13. He never skipped. He never quit. Even when we grew up and moved away, he kept doing it. It became a running family joke. Every time we'd visit and go to church, we'd see him there at the back, smiling politely, handing out programs. And I'd lean over to my siblings and whisper, "You're welcome." He's 92 now, still sharp as ever. And every once in a while, he'll bring it up, that one Sunday back in the 80s when his mysterious usher assignment arrived. He knows now, of course. He figured it out eventually. I mean, who else could have done it? When I visit him, he'll grin and say, "You know, son, I should have made you an usher instead." And I'll laugh and tell him, "Dad, I think you did just fine with the role." Looking back, it wasn't just a prank. It was my first act of rebellion, my little taste of poetic justice. I didn't mean for it to last decades, but somehow, that's what makes it perfect. He got discipline. I got freedom. And we both got a story that's still making us laugh 40 years later. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's patient, poetic, and just the tiniest bit petty. If this story made you smile or reminded you of your own petty payback, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me your favorite family revenge story, and subscribe for more tales of karma, chaos, and long-running poetic justice. Thanks for listening, and remember, sometimes revenge really is a lifelong commitment. Smirking face.